Here we go. Hello.
I like it.
It's your boy, Stepdad Mike, also known as, what do you call me? Mr. Miyagi.
Stepdad Mike.
Stepdad Mike here, giving you the news and giving your girlfriend a bruise in her thigh. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I know what we are going to talk about today in episode 47.
The matchups, baby.
We're talking about matchups. I'm going to just list off the ones we're going to go over in this episode 47. And that way, if you don't hear this matchup here, it's going to be on the next one. But before I do that, I want you to go ahead and give us a follow if you're watching this on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a subscribe. If you're just listening to this on the podcast, Apple Podcast app, go ahead and leave us a rating and review. We really appreciate when you guys do any of those. For us, it really helps us out. So, that being said, these are the games we're going to go over today. Right? Oops. Just out here dropping wrong things. We got Cleveland playing in Cleveland against Miami. We got the Bills playing the Denver Broncos. The Pittsburgh Steelers playing the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bears playing the New York Giants. The Raiders playing the New York Jets. The Saints playing Carolina. Is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. And so if you didn't hear any of those other games that you want us to cover, it's going to be on the next episode, Matchups Part 2. That'll be episode 48. And there'll be one more person here. Anthony's not here in this one, but he'll be here on the next one. Okay. That being said, do you want to cover anything recent news, anything like that?
Just a couple injuries, but I guess we can kind of just touch on them
Throughout
the.
I think you're right. I think you're
the
on something,
matchups.
dude.
But yeah, actually, there's a lot of players who are out.
Yeah.
Have already been ruled out. So, plus you got a couple teams on a bye.
Yeah.
What teams are on a bye this week?
I know Cardinals.
The Vikings.
We got Cardinals, Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings.
Okay, so yeah, some fantasy players there, and across the board, yeah.
I have most of my teams are mostly on bye, so.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Let's start with the Cleveland Browns staying in Cleveland, playing the Miami Dolphins. Cleveland is favored by 10.5 points. The over/under is 44. What do you think about this one? It's your team.
It is my team, Miami, the Dolphins here. So I guess with that being said, we'll start on the Miami side of the ball.
Sure.
I mean, you got a couple quarterbacks. You got Mahomes, Kyler Murray. I mean, Phillip Rivers has kind of been trash, but I mean, if you had him, he's on a bye, and then you got Kirk Cousins on a bye as well. So maybe if you need a streaming quarterback, I'm not mad at Fitz because they should be down. Vegas is suggesting them, minus 10.5. They should be trailing. They're gonna have to play catch up. And just a couple things I can say on the Cleveland's defensive side of the ball. I mean, Myles Garrett is just out here, swinging his helmet, trying to decapitate players. So he's out for the rest of the year, and then. You got the other defensive lineman, Ogunbowale, or I don't even know how to say it. Ogunjobi or what? I don't know, one of those guys. So he's actually, one of their best pass rushers as well.
With both those guys
out. It should kind of limit their pass rush. One of their safeties is out for Cleveland as well. He's out for the year. He tore his Achilles, Morgan Burnett. So I'm not mad at Fitzpatrick here if you in a pinch and you have no one. You're just man, who? It's either you got guys like Driscoll or Brian Allen, Kyle Allen.
Right.
Kyle Allen's dead to me after last week. He really fucked me in a couple leagues. And the matchup was just juicy. So,
yeah.
I mean, you got a couple guys like that. I mean, you got the Finley guy from the Bengals. I mean, I'll probably be starting Fitzpatrick over those guys. If you're in a double quarterback league, I wouldn't be mad at starting Fitzy.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. He's just like the same as Jameis Winston, where he could put up some numbers, and like you said, with that defensive missing pieces. Definitely could be a different game.
Yeah, for sure. Running backs, you got Kalen Ballage here. I mean, I don't know how confident I would feel with him. I know he's going to get most of the work probably, but in a game where we're behind, He's not really a pass catching back, so I'd be fading Kalen Ballage here. I mean, I guess it'd be nice to have him on your bench because he's just like a starting running back. He's going to get some goal line work, but I mean, I don't know how confident I would feel in him. You know, I am a Dolphins fan, so I've seen him play, and he's just not very good. He's like a plunger. He's just like he has like no vision, like, you know. And I know if Anthony was here, he would say the same thing. Like he's got no lateral like agility. It's like he can run straight really fast, you know. But if he's not going to get that, you know, head of steam and break it off for a straight run, then he's not really effective. And so, yeah, I just wouldn't feel confident about him. I guess if he's there, go grab him. He's a starting running back in the NFL. I mean, Mark Walton, who was the starting running back, they actually released him because they got arrested for a battery. Like, he beat up his baby mama or his pregnant baby mama. So it's like the third time in the last year or two he's been arrested. So his career is probably done in the NFL, Mark Walton.
Nice.
So, yeah, if Kalen Ballage is out there.
Hey, Mark Walton, great job.
Yeah, don't do that. But, yeah, so his career is probably done. So, I mean, if Ballage on the waiver wire, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at grabbing him and just holding him, you know, because you never know. I mean, just the depth that having at the position would be good.
Say less.
But, you know, jumping to the receivers here, I guess the only player, you know, you're probably really starting receiver-wise is Devontae Parker. And, yeah. I mean, I've been kind of just chirping about him each and every week, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, if you look in I think you read him to me the other day, his previous in PPR leagues, what his fantasy points are. It's like I don't think he has a game under 11 points in the past, like, 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like 7 weeks straight he's had 11 or more PPR points. And actually, I saw a stat today that he has more fantasy points than Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just crazy.
I mean, and even like people, I'll talk about that when we talk about the Steelers, I guess.
But yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, 7 games where he's had 11 or more PPR points. So I mean, he's got like the super safe floor. You know, no Preston Williams, who was kind of the other receiver there, was like 1A and 1B. So I mean, 10 plus targets in back-to-back weeks. In a game where they should be trailing, you know, and Fitz he'll force feed him the football, you know. Right. And Devontae Parker, we've finally seen him break out. Like I think this is his 4th or 5th year, but we've finally seen him break out. He's finally healthy, finally staying on the field. You know, new coaching regiment. So it's just nice to see like the potential he had, and this is why he went drafted in the first round. It's just nice to see it all come together, and like now he's producing and he's balling. You know, almost like he's stepping into his prime. But I mean, he's still available in a ton of leagues, I think. He's still available in like 40% of leagues, but I mean, if he's out there, I'd go grab him because he's pretty much been a solid wide receiver 2 each and every week. Like I said, 11 plus PPR points in every single week. You know, he gets Cleveland this week's kind of a decent matchup, but they should be behind. And like I said, he's gonna get force fed from Fitzpatrick. Right. But then you got Philly, who struggles against the pass. The Jets, week 14, they struggle against the pass. Week 15 against the Giants, they struggle against the pass as well. I think they have 2 of the worst corners in the entire NFL actually. And then week 16 in the fantasy championship, you get Cincinnati, who they're probably the worst team in the NFL, actually. You know, yeah. So the schedule going forward is really juicy for Devontae Parker. If he's out there, I'm picking him up, and he's just like, for me, he's just like a set it and forget it wide receiver 2, like flex guy for me. I mean,
I'm like, if you look at me, I'm in a situation where you've seen on my 3 wide receiver league, I'm playing Cole Beasley week in and week out. Yeah. So if I'm able to play Cole Beasley week in and week out, Parker's someone that people are really sleeping on, and definitely open to play him every week.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for the amount of volume, he should see at
especially
least
with the passing defense you
8
touched
targets
on
minimum each week given. You know what I'm saying? And he is a big play guy waiting to happen. You know, last week finally 7 catches, 135 yards, first 100-yard game of the season. But just a guy, like I said, if Fitzmatric's going to force feed him the ball, he's a big body guy who can go up there and get those 50-50 contested catches. So I like him.
I love it. Did you touch on Mike Gesicki and I wasn't paying attention?
No, but I'm not mad at Gesicki if you need to stream a tight end this week because he's kind of like he's like just like a big wide receiver, you know? He's not really a tight end. He plays tight end, but he's not a blocking tight end. He's just a big
guy.
Big, like, oversized wide receiver.
He big boy.
In a game where they should be behind, like I said, I think, you can start Gesicki in this one. I wouldn't be surprised to see Gesicki have a pretty decent game here.
Yeah.
And then Miami's defense, you're definitely not playing them, so...
Yeah, don't play Miami's defense. Even though Baker actually, I don't think he's had a turnover in the past 3 games.
Yeah.
So, as great as it was to play defenses against Baker in the beginning of the year, it's a little bit different now.
Yeah. Well, they had one of the toughest schedules, or I think they actually had the toughest schedule for the first 10 weeks. But now going forward, it's like flip-flop. They have like a top 3 easiest.
It's like the opposite of the Patriots.
Remaining schedule, yeah. So like the rest of the season for Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns is money. So I actually picked Baker Mayfield up in one of my leagues. He was on the waiver wire. I think you're going to see a monster game from Baker here. Finally throwing for more than 1 touchdown. I think it's back-to-back games. He's got 2 touchdowns. So, but just some things with Miami's defense here. So Xavier Howard, who's like the lockdown corner over there, he's like an all-pro corner. He's on IR. He's out. He's done for the year. Rashad Jones, who's a Pro Bowler safety, he's on IR. He's out for the year. And then we got another one of our best corners, Brian McCain. He's also out for this game as well. So the secondary is a mess in Miami. Like I said, me and Anthony touch on it all the time. Like, we're diehard Dolphin fans, and there's players in the secondary that they'll talk about, and we're just like, who the fuck is that? Like, we don't even know who that is. They're just like picking people up off the waiver wire.
That's how
practice squad players.
That's how it is for the running backs on the Steelers right now.
Yeah.
Every week it's like they're pulling some dude from practice squad, it seems like.
Yeah. So, but I love Baker Mayfield this week. They have extra time to prepare because they played on that Thursday night game. They're at home. Miami's defense is. I think Baker Mayfield's going to post a top 3 finish here. I'm actually in a kind of a dilemma because I am in one of my leagues. I have Baker Mayfield and then I have Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's at home against the Buccaneers, and we just know the Buccaneers' pass defense is terrible.
Right.
But I think I'm leaning Baker.
No, you know what though? That Buccaneers, me and Anthony were talking about it, it's kind of starting to flip flop. But even though they were super stout against running backs, it's like they changed. I think they did an offensive or a defensive coordinator change or the play calling change, and since then it's been a little bit different. The defense actually is kind of like switching a little bit on the Buccaneers side. So I think if I were you, I'd probably go Baker too.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan's going to be a money start this week, so if you have him, dial him up. But I am leaning right now. I have Baker Mayfield in my lineup, and I think I am just going to leave him in the lineup because I think finally this is just a monster game for like Odell. I think we finally see a crazy
like
Odell.
What we were expecting.
Yeah, I think we finally see this crazy Odell Beckham Jr. game. So you're starting him.
Quite a big call. I like it.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry, revenge game against Miami. I think you're dialing him up. They've actually been sharing the workload pretty even. It's pretty much the Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham show for the receivers over there.
Yeah.
And then running backs, you got Nick Chubb. You're dialing them up. Miami's run defense is pretty bad as well.
Is David Njoku back?
They're saying he could be activated.
Baker does like David Njoku. He does target him I'm just saying quarterback to tight end ratio, like in the league. Baker Mayfield is kind of up there. He does target David Njoku a decent amount when he's healthy.
I'd be nervous just to see his first game back in a while. I don't know if I'd play him in my lineup. I guess if you need a tight end, maybe go grab him and just kind of hold on to him and see how he gets incorporated to the offense.
I think David Njoku, even though they had that report, I think there's like a lot of guys, as bad as the tight end landscape usually is. It seems like lately there's been more popping up that are usable week to week.
For sure, yeah. What about Kareem Hunt here? You dialing him up? He's been getting a ton of passing work.
Yeah, I like Kareem Hunt. I'm playing him in the one league I have him in. Yeah, I like it against Miami. Miami's not very good against the run.
No, not at all. I mean, I'm dialing up all my Cleveland Browns here. You know what I'm saying? Cleveland Brown defense, you might be able to find better.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it,
yeah.
Because the Dolphins' offensive line is pretty bad. But, I mean, I guess if you're losing Myles Garrett, you're losing the other defensive tackle.
I think I'd be looking elsewhere for defenses. I think there's a couple different guys we kind of touched on the waiver wire episode that I kind of like a little bit better. Sure. Even like Detroit's against Washington against Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins has like 4 more interceptions than touchdowns, I think.
Yeah.
I might be exaggerating that, but it's up there.
For sure, yeah.
You want to move on to the next game?
You got it.
We're talking about the Buffalo Bills are taking on Denver Broncos in Buffalo, up in New York. The Bills are favored by 4 points. It's the over/under of 37, which is a very low over/under. What are you thinking on? What side do you want to start on?
Start on the Bills side.
Okay, let's do it. Josh Allen, I like it.
I mean, he offers you that rushing upside each and every week. So, I mean, I think
he rushed one in last week.
It's a tough matchup. Denver's defense is pretty decent. I mean, so I wouldn't be expecting a monster game like he had last week against Miami, but I wouldn't be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Right. He does offer that rushing upside.
Yeah.
Anthony always touches on it. One rushing yard is pretty much 2.5 passing yards. So
Yeah, I mean the one league I have Josh Allen and I have Lamar Jackson, so I'm not playing.
Yeah,
it's very rare that I'm playing Josh Allen over him, but I think he's definitely a good start this week.
yeah, you're like a low end QB1. I mean, if you're in a 2-quarterback league, he'd be a good second quarterback.
Yeah,
throw in there. Running back wise, I mean, I think it's Devin Singletary, and that's it. I'm not sure if I can really trust Frank Gore. I think Frank Gore's value is only if he can fall into the end zone.
I will say that I think he's like 70 yards away from passing like all-time rushing yards. He's like 70 yards away from passing what's his name? Barry Sanders or somebody.
The GOAT, Barry Sanders.
Yeah, so I know that's kind of weird, but it could be a situation if they're winning, they might just throw Frank Gore out there just so he can break that record. I thought maybe it would be that way last week, but I don't know. It's just it is something that could happen. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, 37-point over under. I think this game could actually go under, so probably not a lot of points being scored here. I mean, with that being said, though, I think you're still dialing up Devin Singletary. I mean, he's an explosive guy. Just a hashtag interesting stat right here, but 15.9% of Devin Singletary's carries have gone for 15 or more rushing yards, and that's actually number 1 in the NFL. So he's got that big play, home run potential ability, so I'm definitely dialing up Devin Singletary in this one.
Yeah, he is. That being said, Devin Singletary has definitely taken over that backfield for sure.
Yeah. What about the receivers here? You got Cole Beasley, he's kind of in a PPR machine, and then you got John Brown, who's coming off a monster game last week against Miami. I mean, Denver's defense is pretty stout. I mean, Chris Harris Jr. will probably shadow John Brown, so that kind of makes me a little bit nervous. But I feel like, how do you sit a guy who's just been consistently getting it done each and every week,
I'm not sitting John Brown. I think he's done pretty well against pretty decent defenses, so pretty decent secondary. So, I'm not benching him.
I mean, it'd be tough to bench him after coming off a monster game. I think he had, 34 points or something stupid like that.
2 touchdowns and
100 and some yards. So it's crazy. It'd be hard pressed to sit him after that game. I would just say maybe temper expectations that if he only gets you, 4 catches for 60 yards, he only gets you like 10 PPR points. Like, don't be disappointed because Chris Harris is one of the, premier corners in the league, and he will shadow him most likely. But with that said, with the upside that John Brown offers, and him being the number 1 there, I think you have to play him.
Yeah.
What about your guy Cole Beasley? You dialing him up? You said he's pretty much been your wide receiver too.
I'm not really in a position where I can play anybody else, so yes, I am.
I think if you're in a full PPR, he's still got that safe floor. I don't know what the numbers are the last couple weeks, but I know he was at a pace where he was getting you pretty much at a floor of 9 PPR points every single week. It was like
off the top of my head. I
think it was like 9 to 15 points each and every single week. So I mean, if you just need a guy,
he got like 8 points last week, 7.8. He's got 11, 9, 13, 10. I mean, bye week 5.
It's not
14,
sexy,
14.
but it's like what you're getting. You're going to get like 10 points ish, give or take. So if you kind of just need a guy like, hey, I just want to get 10 points, like I need to make sure I get something,
he's not going to give you a dud.
Yeah, he's not going to give you a dud.
Cut 2.
Yeah.
Him giving you a dud.
Yeah, seriously. What about the tight end here, Dawson Knox?
He found the end zone last week.
Yeah.
It's like tight ends. It's kind of, besides these top couple guys, it's kind of a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
If they're going to find the end zone. I think in a game where the over-under is 37, I'm not going to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't. There's some better options we can go over as we go through them, but yeah.
I wouldn't feel confident about throwing them out there.
Nah, not at all. Buffalo's defense, I think you're dialing them up right here at home against Denver. You get a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
In what's his name? Bruce Allen? Brian Allen?
Yeah, Bruce Allen.
Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne. Yeah. Bruce Wayne, yep.
With that being said, I mean, on the Denver side of the ball, you're not playing the quarterback. I mean, Phillip Lindsay right here is, I think you're dialing him up. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable playing Royce Freeman, but I think Phillip Lindsay, they're kind of making him. They're kind of Brandon Allen. Okay, yeah. So, but anyways, Phillip Lindsay, you're dialing him up. They kind of want to make him the feature guy. I think he had like 18 touches last week compared to Royce Freeman only had like 6 or 7. So I mean, you like seeing that if you're a Phillip Lindsay owner. Plus, the schedule going down the stretch is one of the best in the entire league. So if you have Phillip Lindsay, he's going to be helping some people win some fantasy championships for sure. He's going to be putting up some pretty good numbers, I think, going forward. What about the receiver here? You got Cortland Sutton. I mean, he's probably going to get shadowed by Tre'Davious White, who's pretty good. I mean, you got a rookie backup quarterback. on the road. I mean, you feeling comfortable about? I mean, I think Sutton posted 100+ yards last week.
Yeah, it's hard for me just because I haven't been really paying attention to Courtland Sutton that much this year. It's probably, I mean, if I'm playing guys like Cole Beasley, then I think you have to play guys like Courtland Sutton. What do you think?
I mean, he's wide receiver 16 on the year. He's coming off a 5-catch, 113-yard game. I mean, he's pretty much been solid. He's only had one game all year, PPR-wise, under 10 points. I mean, this is kind of going from week 11 backwards, but you got 18.8, 17, 10, 14.7, 11.6, 19.2, 24, 14. And you got the 8, and then the first game of the year he had 19. So he's actually been
super consistent.
Money, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that being said, let's play him.
I think, yeah. I mean, I'm a numbers guy, and, you know, the matchup's tough. It's on the road. You know, yeah, Tre'Davious White's going to shadow him, but, I mean, we saw Devontae Parker put up, 100+ yards against Tre'Davious White. Odell Beckham put up, I think 5 for 57 against him. So, I mean, maybe you just don't expect a monster game, but, I mean, with the numbers here of, posting double-digit fantasy points in pretty much every single game but one, I think I'm just going to trust that more than anything.
Yeah, I think you can. What do you think about Noah Fant in this one?
I'm not mad at it. I mean, he's kind of...
I like Noah Fant more than I like Dawson Knox.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm not mad at Noah Fant. I think if you have him, maybe there's some other options, maybe just kind of off the top of my head, like a Ryan Griffin or even like a Hollister, from the Seahawks. Maybe I'll throw those guys out there. But, I mean, I'd take Noah Fant over like Eifert or... let's see who else is there. I mean, the backup tight end for Atlanta, Austin Hooper's out. I take Fant over any Tampa Bay Buccaneers thing. I take Noah Fant over.
By the way, me and Anthony
Detroit
discussed we're over O.J. Howard. We both dropped him.
Yeah, me too. He's dead to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not mad at Noah Fant. I mean, if he's on the waiver wire, even if you don't feel comfortable playing him this week, I'll go grab him because he's got a couple good matchups down the stretch, and you touch on it more than anybody that the rookie quarterback, or an inexperienced quarterback will tend to lean on
the tight end,
the tight end a little bit more. Noah Fant's pretty much just like an oversized wide receiver.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, light him up, dude. Light him up. Anybody else you want to speak on?
Denver's defense. I mean, 37-point over under.
Yeah, I guess that does. No, I'd be playing Bills defense way over the. Yeah, I don't feel that comfortable playing the Broncos defense.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, even with the short over under, I just can't see the Bills turning over the ball a lot, and that's just kind of like where a lot of the points come from.
Yeah,
you do if you shut people out, but like how often does that really happen? Especially against a team like the Bills, who actually have a pretty decent offense.
Yeah.
So that being said, let's move on to the next game. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the winless Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. The Steelers are favored by 6.5 points, and the over-under is 39. Not very far off from the last game's over-under.
Yeah. I guess we start on the Pittsburgh side of the ball. I mean, Mason Rudolph, you're not playing him. You don't get fantasy points for getting shellacked in the head with a helmet.
Or throwing 4 interceptions.
Yeah, for sure. So you're not playing him. I guess just some news in this game. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. He's going to be out this week. And then you got James Conner. Those 2 players have already been ruled out. So you just got to plan accordingly for that. Then you also got Deontay Johnson. He's dealing with the concussion still, so he's kind of questionable.
Our number one receivers like Deion Kane or James Washington, and then it's like Deion Kane.
Yeah, so it's it's pretty rough over there in Pittsburgh.
That being said,
I mean, who do you feel comfortable playing on the Steelers side of the ball?
I think you could almost play James Washington on the receiving side. I think you're playing Jalen Samuels if you have him.
Yeah.
Besides that, I think I'll do like James Washington just because the Bengals have let people just throw on him like crazy. I mean, I think the Bengals defenses is ranked like 32nd and 29th, like between passing and rushing.
Yeah, they're the worst team in the NFL.
They really are not good. So even though Mason Rudolph's been doing pretty bad, I think he'll still be able to pass a little bit. What's his name? Marquise Pouncey is out, so that kind of throws a wrench into things. But I still think he'll get it done. I like James Washington, maybe Vance McDonald,
He's got to throw the ball to somebody. So
Yeah, I just even though it's 39 over under, I do think Pittsburgh's going to score most of it, and if they go over, it's going to be Pittsburgh doing it.
Yeah. I mean, so you got Jalen Samuels. You're dialing him up. What about like Benny Snell or like a Trey
Edmonds?
Trey Edmonds.
Yeah, it's Terrell Edmonds' like brother.
Oh.
Yeah, I just feel really confident in playing Jalen Samuels. I don't know about Benny Snell.
Because, that we've kind of noticed this has been like a running back by committee the whole year pretty much.
Yeah, both of them have been a little bit fantasy relevant. I just kind of like more confident in Jalen Samuels.
Yeah.
Just with the over-under being so low, I'm just...
The pass catching upside.
Yeah.
For Jalen Samuels.
How do you feel?
Yeah, Jalen Samuels, I mean... You don't know. I'm not sure what Benny Snell's status is, but I mean, if he's there and then the Edmonds guy or Edwards or Edmonds, like that's just murky. So I guess if there's one guy who I would trust, it would be Jalen Samuels.
Yeah.
And then James Washington, like you said, they have the rapport from college, so maybe with no Juju, maybe with no Deontay Johnson.
He's had a week 10, 19 points. Like he can put up points. That was against the Rams. I just think that. Yeah, like I said, he's got to throw the ball to somebody. It could be Vance McDonald, but I
like the Vance this week.
I think that James Washington have the rapport.
No, yeah, I like Vance McDonald this week. If you have Vance, I think you need to stream a tight end this week. I think you could stream him this week.
Yeah, go ahead and start those guys we said.
And then Steelers defense, I think they're locked and loaded. I know they kind of put up a dud last week, but that was their first dud in. I think since they got Minkah Fitzpatrick, last week was the first game they didn't like put up some really good numbers.
I mean, it's hard when you're on the field for 50 minutes of the 60 minutes.
Yeah,
the defense.
Yeah,
You're
definitely down up the Steelers defense. I think from here on out, you can pretty much set it and forget it. I mean, especially next week, they're going to get the Browns in Pittsburgh, and I can only imagine what they're going to do to the Browns after what happened last Thursday night.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're going to punish them.
What about Cincinnati side of the ball here? I mean, Andy Dalton's still on the bench. You got the other quarter. What's his name? Finley?
Ryan Finley.
Finley. Okay, so yeah, he's there. But then you got maybe Joe Mixon's the only guy you're really considering because you still got AJ Green out. Auden Tate, he's got a concussion or a neck injury, so he's probably going to be out.
I don't want to tell people that you can go ahead and drop AJ Green, but I think you could drop AJ Green.
See, I haven't been one league, and I'm pretty thin at receiver. I've just been waiting for forever. So I've kind of just like, whatever, man. I'm not going to drop him at the finish line, and then maybe he comes back and he puts up some good numbers. Does he even play this year? I mean, who knows? He could maybe not even play the whole year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of just a situation.
But I think for Cincinnati side of the ball, it's just Joe Mixon that I really feel confident playing in, and even then, it's a tough game against the Steelers defense. But I mean, besides that,
Tyler Boyd.
I mean, I guess if you got to throw him in there, but I mean, I think
I'm with you, dude.
If you can really just double team Boyd, no Auden Tate, no AJ Green. I mean, Tyler Eifert's a body, but he's really no threat anymore as he was back in the day. If I'm the Steelers, I'm literally just doubling Tyler Boyd and eliminating him from the thing.
I'm right there with you. All right, so you're not playing their defense, obviously. Joe Mixon, that's it.
Yeah. What about Tyler Eifert? I mean, if you're in a pinch,
he did end up in the end zone not too long ago. But still, that's I'm not looking.
Yeah, I'd rather play guys like we talked about Noah Fant or Ryan Griffin.
I'd rather play Vance on the other side.
Vance McDonald as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I would even say maybe Mike Gesicki over Tyler Eifert.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
Yeah.
Next matchup.
Yep, let's do it. We got the Chicago Bears playing the New York Giants. It's in Chicago. Bears are favored by 6 points. The over/under is 40.5. What side do you want to start on?
Start on the Bears side.
Let's do it.
Some news with Trubisky. He left the last game with a hip pointer, but all signs are showing that he's going to play.
Yeah, there's rumors that was not a real injury.
He was just like...
No, it was like Matt Nagy tried to pull him out.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want him to play.
Yeah.
Like he was like trying to be like, okay, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And then he realized that it didn't work out, and he's just kind of covering his ass so he doesn't lose his job. So they're saying like, oh, he has a hip injury because he walked out by himself.
Yeah.
Mitchell Trubisky. So, but yeah, I don't think you're playing him either way.
I mean, one thing I can say is I was listening to something or reading something. They were saying that Trubisky, his best games have come at home when he plays against a bottom 10 defense. And, the Giants, you can throw all over them. So I think this could be a game where, I would feel comfortable starting Allen Robinson this game. I wouldn't be mad at starting Trubisky. Obviously it's Trubisky and he's a bum.
Yeah.
I think this is like a recipe for success for him here, at home against a really bad Giants pass defense who's just been giving it up. So, I think you could see a decent game here from Trubisky.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I guess it would just depend on who you have,
Yeah, I guess there's obviously you're playing him over Mason. You're playing him over all these other quarterbacks. Like I play him over Brandon Allen. I play him over, but that's about it, to be honest. I'd probably play him. Would you play him over Daniel Jones?
I would, yeah. Over Daniel Jones, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that matchup's kind of
playing him Josh Allen or Trubisky?
Josh Allen. Yeah, Josh Allen.
This is gross, but I think I might. I think I might go
Get out of my
Trubisky.
face with that. That is so crazy.
I know.
Yeah, dude. He's the new third and down syndrome.
You want to beer bet it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll take Trubisky over Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's crazy. Don't listen to Tyler.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Anyways, so you got the running backs here. You got Tariq Cohen. I just don't feel comfortable with Tariq Cohen playing him any given week because he's just too hit or miss. It's like you just don't know how the carries are going to get split up, and if he doesn't find the end zone, he's not giving you the consistent, yardage week in and week out.
Right.
What about David Montgomery though?
I'm playing David Montgomery this week.
Yeah.
I like it. I think you can start him. Yeah. I think he's just kind of we've noticed that they're starting to use the run game a lot more, using David Montgomery more, giving him the opportunities. I think it's a decent matchup. I'm playing him.
Yeah. I know he kind of came into the game with an
I'm
ankle.
also screwing up with the running backs. I have Marlon Mack, David Johnson, Kerryon John. I have every hurt running back. I got him.
Nice.
So
that's not nice.
David Montgomery. Yeah, I'm lining him up this week for sure.
Yeah. He had the ankle injury coming into last Sunday night against the Rams, but even then, I think he played and he got like 17 carries. He didn't have a ton of yardage, but you still like seeing him getting the majority of the work. Plus, he gets the goal line carries as well. So yeah, I like David Montgomery, and then the schedule going forward is pretty juicy. It's like one of the best schedules going forward, and if he's going to get me, 18 touches every single week, then yeah, I like David Montgomery going forward.
Yeah, I like it.
Allen Robinson, I think you got to throw him in there. Like I said, the Giants' pass defense has been pretty bad, so you're definitely starting Allen Robinson. But would you maybe take a shot on like an Anthony Miller or a Taylor Gabriel or pull the trigger?
Maybe if anybody, maybe Taylor Gabriel. What did you say before that?
Pull the trigger.
No. Before
Anthony Miller.
Yeah, if I'm gonna play anybody, I play Taylor Gabriel. That's it. Out of those two.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think you start Allen Robinson. I think you start David Montgomery. But yeah, what's it called? Taylor Gabriel, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how comfortable I feel. I think one of those guys could have a good game. It's just flip a coin. Which guy's gonna have a good game?
Yeah, I just think I've seen Taylor Gabriel do it more than I've seen Anthony Miller do it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just my opinion. Very anecdotal, but
Yeah, I don't know how confident I feel playing those guys in there. And then there's just no tight end whatsoever in Chicago.
Yeah.
They need to go draft one or trade for one or something.
What was his name that we all thought was going to be?
Trey Burton.
Yeah, Trey Burton.
Yeah.
Just
non-existent.
Yep.
And then Chicago's defense at home, they're money, dude. I think they're going to just shellac the Giants. I feel bad for Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes over here is going to...
He has 9 interceptions, or he's fumbled the ball, I think, like a ridiculous amount of times this year.
Yeah, I feel bad for a rookie quarterback going on the road to play in Chicago. It's probably going to be cold there too, so yeah, I feel bad for him. So definitely down of the Bears defense. With that being said, jump on the other side. Danny Dimes negative. Saquon Barkley. You got to throw him in your lineup. I know he had a dud game last week or the week before that, but you're definitely down him up. What about the receivers here? They're saying that you're supposed to get Sterling Shepard back. You got Golden Tate. You feeling comfortable? Danny Dimes on the road in Chicago. Is he going to be able to get these guys the ball?
Yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be rough. Like I have, yeah.
If there's one of them I'm going to play, it's probably Golden Tate, just because he's been the healthy one. He's actually been out there getting more reps with Danny Dimes.
I think a lot of people picked up Darius Slayton in waiver wires this past week just because he put up some. I think he had 2 touchdowns this past week.
Yeah.
But this Bears defense is pretty good.
Bears defense at home, I'm pretty nervous, And then there's also no Evan Ingram. He's ruled out as well, so no Evan Ingram, the tight end for the Giants here. I mean, if there's one pass catcher from the Giants that I would throw in my lineup, it'd probably be Golden Tate, and he'd probably be like a wide receiver 3 flex guy for me. Like I'm not expecting the most from him, but I think there should be behind.
Golden Tate's always a sneaky play. I think he's always in every fantasy game, every fantasy start. He has the potential of putting up stuff, and it's been that way since Detroit. So yeah.
And then Giants defense negative. So we jump into the next one.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We got the Raiders traveling in New York, going to play against the Jets. You got the Raiders are -3 with a 46.5 point over/under. Oakland side of the ball here. I mean, I say it every week. I just don't like Derek Carr.
I streamed him last week.
What did he get you? I don't even look at his numbers because he's just not.
He had like a 117 passer rating. He actually did pretty good.
How many fantasy points do you get for
that? He put up 20 points against the Bengals.
Points. Okay,
20 points. That's pretty decent. He had 292 passing yards, passing touchdown. He did throw an interception. He had 5 rushing attempts for 1 rushing yard, and he ran 1 in. So that rushing touchdown helped you out a little bit. But I think you can play him against the Jets, though.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of looking at some of these teams here. I mean, the Jets' defense is not very good.
I'd play Baker. Defense. I'd play Baker over Derek Carr. I'd play Carr over Mason Rudolph, obviously. I'd play Carr over Brandon Allen. I'd be playing Carr over
Trubisky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going Carr over Trubisky. I'd probably go Carr over a lot. I mean, I'm probably going Carr over the Detroit quarterback and the Washington quarterback. He'd probably be like a low in QB1, I guess, for me right here.
Yeah.
The matchup is pretty good for him on paper. The Jets defense, their run defense is really good. I think we were looking at some numbers before we jumped on here, and they were like number 1 yards per game and number 1 yards per carry allowed, the New York Jets run defense. But their pass defense was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not mad at Derek Carr here. I mean, if you need just a streaming option here, or if you're in a 2-quarterback league, maybe throw him there as your second quarterback. Wouldn't be mad at it. With that being said, you got Josh Jacobs, who's probably going to be the offensive rookie of the year. I mean, I know the Jets' defense is pretty stout, and, like I just said, they're number 1 in yards per carry, number 1 yards per game allowed, but I'm not sitting Josh Jacobs here. With the opportunity for him to fall into the end zone, and, that Oakland offensive line has been pretty good all year. So, and, I think I touched on it in one of the last episodes, but, every time I'm looking at these, running back stats, it'll be top 5 in yards per carry, top 5 in most elusiveness, top 5 in most broken tackles, all these crazy running back stats. And Josh Jacobs is up there in every single one, with the names of Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, Kamara, Derrick Henry, some of these bruiser guys. So he's a good running back, good offensive line. I think if you can throw on them, they won't be able to stack the box on him. So yeah, I do like Josh Jacobs still. I know I've seen a couple other places or people saying sit Josh Jacobs, or it's a bad start for Josh Jacobs, but
when you got a guy who's so dominant, nothing is really a bad start.
Yeah,
there's guys like that. Josh Jacobs is becoming that guy that you got to play him every week. It's like a Saquon, it's like a Zeke. It's you're not gonna bench him.
Yeah, and in a game where I don't think that they're gonna be trailing. This game could go back and forth. Like a shootout, kind of like the over in this game. He's not going to get game scripted out of where he can't catch the ball. He actually can't catch the ball, so he's a 3-down back. So I do like Josh Jacobs. Tough matchup, but I mean, any given Sunday he can fall into the end zone, and he's just a good running back.
Listen, dude.
I like it. I fucking like it.
Yeah, there you go. He likes it. We like it. That's hot. Who are you playing? Any of these receivers? Obviously, you're playing Darren Waller.
You're playing Darren Waller, the tight end. I know the Jets have been pretty stingy against the tight end position, but Darren Waller's not a tight end. He's just a massive, big body wide receiver.
He really is.
So I definitely think, it's a good Darren Waller game this week. And then Tyrell Williams will be a guy I think you could play this week as well. Probably like a wide receiver 3 flex guy for you. And then maybe even like a sneaky PPR guy would be Hunter Renfrow, who's been kind of turning up a little bit the last couple weeks. In a game where, like I said, you can attack the Jets through the air, pretty high over under 46.5. Yeah, I'm not mad at, maybe starting Hunter Renfrow in like a pinch, if you're in a 3 wide receiver league or a double flex league, and maybe you got, a couple players on a bye, maybe you're in a pinch and you had like, I don't know, maybe you had like Larry Fitz, Keenan Allen, and Stephon Diggs on your team, and all 3 are on a bye, and you're just like, man, I just need to throw someone in my lineup. I wouldn't be mad at throwing like a Hunter Renfrow in there in a PPR league.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering who was going to be that extra receiver. We thought it might be Zay Jones, but it seems like Hunter Renfrow is that guy.
Yeah.
That second receiver.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the Jets side?
You're starting the Raiders defense. I don't think I'd be playing either one of these defenses, to be honest.
I like the Raiders defense this week against the Jets.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm playing him in one league. I'm not mad at it.
All right, Jets side of the ball here. You got Sam Donald. Hey, Donald.
Hey, Donald.
Sam Darnold from the New York Jets. I mean, what's your thoughts on him? He's just been like up and down after, seeing ghosts, and he's just all over the place, and even in Miami, he played terrible, and Miami's, wasn't very good,
Right.
But, I mean, he is at home. You can throw on the Raiders, You feel comfortable playing a Sam Darnold? Or
I think if you got enough guys on bye, I'm playing him in a league. But I might change that, to be honest, because there is some options. Even going over them right now, it's like, I'm tempted to put in a Baker Mayfield over what's his, who were we just talking about? Sam Darnold. Over Sam Darnold. So I would just check your waiver wire, check your free agents, see if anybody else there is there. I might play Fitzpatrick. No. I'd be playing Mitch Trubisky over Sam Darnold, I think. Maybe. I play Derek Carr over Sam Darnold. There's a couple different guys I play over him. So if you're in that type of situation, all I'm saying is just look to see if there's anything better. But
yeah,
it's not that bad of a play. It's like a middle tier. I would say he's like my 15th option.
Yeah, I mean, like I know Baker Mayfield's available in some leagues. I'd for sure go grab him and start him. I mean, I might be starting like a Trubisky over him actually. It's just gross. Like he's only top 300 yards once. He's coming off a 4 touchdown game against Washington, but they're not very good. But I mean, he's just so turnover prone. It's just gross. I mean, one thing I can say is though, the last 2 weeks in good matchups, he's put up 20 or more points, 22 and then 25 back-to-back weeks. So the opportunity is there. Can he get it done? It's the opportunity is always there, but the numbers are just all over the place for him. Could he go out there and throw 4 picks again? Yeah, that's an opportunity.
Very
for sure.
possible. Very possible.
Could he go out there and throw for 303? That's another opportunity too.
Yeah, you got to roll the dice and see what.
You just don't know. I don't know how confident I would feel with him out there. I mean, the matchup is like aligned for him to have a good game. But I mean, we kind of saw it last week with Kyle Allen. Like you get these money matchups sometimes, and like it just doesn't matter for the players. Like Kyle Allen money matchup against the Falcons goes out and throws 4 pitchers.
He woke up and had diarrhea that day. You never know.
Yeah. Fuck you, Kyle. That's how I felt about him. Fucking Kyle.
That was Tyler last week.
That was literally me. Every time he threw a pick, fuck you, Kyle.
Okay. Jets running backs.
Le'Veon Bell, you're
Light it
dialing him up. It's the receivers here. You got Jamison Crowder. You're dialing him up. He's a solid wide receiver too.
How do you feel about Robbie Anderson?
I'm not mad. The thing with Robbie Anderson is like you got to know what you're going for. You're either going to get the home run or you're not. You're going to strike out or you're going to get the home run. And I mean, and I guess in a game where the matchup is a good green rated matchup for them, I wouldn't be mad at starting Robbie Anderson. I'm actually in a pinch in one of my leagues where a couple buys, I need a receiver and I need a tight end. And I have Robbie Anderson. I picked him up because I was going to play him. But then I saw Ryan Griffin, the tight end for the Jets, is there as well, and I picked him up. And I'm thinking about playing both of them, but then it just sounds so gross playing 2 Jets.
2 Jets.
It sounds disgusting. So
yeah, I mean, I got Robbie Anderson in because I have Mike Williams, Marlon Mack, Juju Smith-Schuster, and David Johnson on my bench. So
yeah,
they're all buys, and Juju's out, and Marlon Mack's out. Obviously, he wasn't there the other day. I have Tony Pollard It's like, am I going to put him in my flex?
I mean, now if you're going to shoot for the home run, I mean, Robbie Anderson is that guy. And in a game where, it could be a shootout back and forth, could he break one off, 70-yard, touchdown? I mean, he actually had a short yardage red zone touchdown last week. So, I mean,
Which is, you don't actually normally see that with Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. So it's just nice to see that. But, I mean, I'm not mad at Robbie Anderson if you need him. Like I said, I don't know. I'm on the fence about starting 2 Jets players here, but I just don't want to sit Robbie Anderson because I'm gonna play Ryan Griffin. I think if you play Ryan Griffin this week, I think it's money. And then schedule going forward for Ryan Griffin. Actually, if you need a tight end, I would go grab Ryan Griffin
if he's there for sure.
Chris Herndon's on IR. He didn't even see the field at all this year. But yeah, I think the stat was. Let me check it for Ryan Griffin real quick. In the last 4 games, he's had 3 of his last 4 games. He's had 4 or more catches and 50 or more receiving yards. So if you're in a PPR league, you're looking at a safe floor of 9. And in 2 of those 4 games, he's posted 20 or more PPR points. So kind of a guy that Sam Darnold kind of leans on. It's been a touchdown guy. Yeah, I definitely like Ryan Griffin this week. And then going forward, they get Oakland this week, Cincinnati next week, Miami, and then the last 2 weeks, 15-16 at Baltimore and Pittsburgh, kind of tougher matchups. But these next 3 matchups for Ryan Griffin right here, I mean, in one of my leagues, I'm pretty much just streaming tight ends because I drank the O.J. Howard Kool-Aid, and that kind of bit me in the ass. I have no tight end. I had picked up Will Dissly in the middle of the year. He was balling. He got hurt. I literally have had no tight end the whole year. I've just been streaming tight end, so grab Ryan Griffin. Going to throw him on my lineup this week. He'll probably be in my lineup for the next 3 weeks, and then now I'm just going to find a different tight end to stream in those last couple weeks of the playoffs. So
love Ryan Griffin.
Yeah,
he's the Chris Herndon we wanted.
Yeah.
Are you playing Jets defense in this?
Me personally, I wouldn't be playing either one of these defenses just because I feel like it could be a shootout. Back and forth. And Derek Carr doesn't really tend to turn the ball over. He actually has been pretty consistent with it.
Yeah.
And not fumbling, not throwing picks.
Yeah, if I'm playing a defense, I'm playing the Raiders defense. That's my opinion. I know you don't really agree with me, but that's just, I
mean, yeah, Sam Darnold could, like I said, is a turnover machine.
I think if you're playing one of them, you're playing the Raiders defense.
For sure.
Okay. Let's go on to this last one for this episode. That's going to be the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans are taking on the Carolina Panthers. The Saints are favored by 9.5 points. Pretty high spread. And the over-under is 47. It's almost like an unexpected spread, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just kind of what I think. But let's start on the Saints side. Drew Brees.
You're dialing him up.
I think so, too.
You're dialing up Drew Brees. You're dialing up Alvin Kamara. You're dialing up Michael Thomas.
Drew Brees.
My fingers hurt.
They're all better now. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you can light up Drew Brees, obviously. Yeah, I think those guys. What's his Ted? What do you think about Ted Ginn Jr., dude?
Nah, I wouldn't be playing him. He's only been getting 2 catches a game, if that. So if he doesn't find the end zone, he's not going to give you any kind of value. What about guys like I guess the only 2 guys you're kind of question marks with are Latavius Murray. Because you got David Johnson and Drake on a bye. You got McCoy and Damian Williams on a bye. Eckler, Melvin Gordon, Dalvin Cook, these guys on a bye. So would you feel comfortable throwing in a Latavius Murray? I mean, 9.5, so this should be winning, should be dominating, should be up, meaning that they should have to run the ball a little bit more, grind out this win at the end of the game, clock management. You feel comfortable throwing a Latavius Murray in there, like a low-end RB2?
I don't feel comfortable.
If you're in a pinch.
But I think the game script shows that it could be a game where Latavius Murray gets some run, maybe towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Take Alvin Kamara, save his legs for future games. Yeah, it's all right. I think it's I think you're like you said with a lot of buys this week. You can throw in Latavius Murray as kind of a backup flex option.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I know is that the Carolina Panthers are terrible. They're the 3rd worst team in terms of giving up fantasy points to the running back position.
Unless your name's Brian Hill.
Yeah, unless your name is Brian Hill, which was a fucking. I can't believe that.
I threw him in over a couple guys.
Yeah, that was rough.
He had a touchdown call back, to be fair, but
yeah. But again, like we said, the whole Kyle Allen thing too. Sometimes you get these money matchups on paper. It's okay, you can run all over this team, and then you're thinking this running back, if he's going to get me 15 plus touches, he's going to have a good game. He puts up a dud. But, yeah. I mean, Panthers' run defense, not very good. They're just giving it up. So, and I think they saw a stat where, I think they've given up the most rushing touchdowns in the entire NFL, or if not, they're like bottom 3 in terms of like the top 3 most.
They watch Christian McCaffrey score on the other end zone. They're like, well, yeah, that's how this game works. Yeah. Their running back scores, and then our running back.
So I wouldn't be mad at Latavius Murray because, you know, he could always fall into the end zone. He could always break off. You know, we've seen him break off some pretty big runs too. So yeah, I'm not mad at Latavius Murray here, like a low end RB2 or like a, you know, if you need a flex guy, you're in a pinch and you just need to you need a body in there. You know, I'd like him over like any Miami Dolphin running back or, you know, just kind of thinking off the top of my head right there. But, I think Jared Cook too. I think with the tight end position with how thin it is, I think I saw a stat where he's finished anywhere between like tight end 6 and tight end 12 like the last 5-6 games or whatever he's played. So you kind of know what you're getting there. You're not going to get these like boom game where he's going to be like put up these massive numbers, but
I'm playing Ryan Griffin over him. I'm playing Hollister over him.
I think I would agree with you on those two. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if you weren't able to snag one of these new,
but what about like a Jason Witten or a Jimmy Graham or Jared Cook?
I'd play probably Jared Cook over them.
Me too. What about Jared Cook over Tampa Bay Buccaneer tight end, OJ Howard or Brate?
Is that serious? I dropped OJ Howard, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not playing him. So no, yeah, I would pick Jared Cook over that.
Jared Cook or Noah Fant?
Noah Fant.
I think I'm going Noah Fant just because I think the volume. I think he'll get a little bit more. He's kind of like that second receiver now, Noah Fant.
Yeah, I'm playing Noah Fant over Jared Cook.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, let's say he's like a number 10 tight end in there.
Yeah.
You know, that back end, low end tight end one. I mean, when you're tied to this offense, I think the possibility to score any given week is always there.
Unless you play the Falcons for some reason in week 10.
Falcons, yeah, for sure. That was something crazy, but Saints defense, I'm down them up. I mean,
I like it. Kyle Allen,
he just threw 4 picks and everyone's talking about like, oh, we got to get rid of Cam. We got Kyle Allen. It's like, dude, yeah, no.
Hey, by the way, who would you have recommended? Nick Foles or Jacoby Brissett
for this week?
Yeah,
I probably would have went Jacoby Brissett.
Okay, so somebody asked me and I responded with that, and I got a lot of shit for it. But it's like, dude, he ran one in. I mean, there was definitely upside for it. It just didn't happen.
I think we can touch on the Tennessee game and Jacksonville game later. But I mean, just kind of touch on it real quick. That'll be in the next episode. But just a quick little tidbit on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tennessee coming off a bye, they do have a really good defense. I mean, defensive head coach, Vrabel's a defensive-minded head coach. So division game, Tennessee is at home. They're coming off a bye. They've had an extra week to prepare for Jacksonville. So I do like Tennessee's defense this week.
Right.
They're actually one of my main defenses I like this week. So yeah, I probably would have said Jacoby Brissett in a shootout game because I would have pictured that Texans-Colts game to be like more of a shootout.
Yeah, I agree too. That's what I thought too. That was my thought process. Just curious what you thought. Let's move on to the Carolina side of the ball. We got
fuck you, Kyle.
Yeah, we got fuck you, Kyle going. What do you think? Are you playing Kyle Allen?
Fuck you, Cat.
Definitely not. He's dead to me.
Yeah, I think he doesn't have
Testosterone.
He doesn't have enough Shasharon.
He's dead to me.
Be in my lineup. That's just me. Are you playing Christian McCaffrey?
Down him up.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. Put him in your lineup, dude. You can't not play Christian McCaffrey, dude.
What about these receivers, DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel?
DJ Moore, what was it, the past 6 games? What was that stat we've seen? Past 6 games, he has the most targets.
I think he's the most targeted wide receiver in the entire NFL in the last 6 weeks. So
yeah, so
I'm definitely down up DJ Moore in a game where they should be trailing. Even in games where I was reading something like even when games where like Kyle Allen's played pretty bad and he hasn't been performing, like he's still getting DJ Moore the ball.
Yeah, I
love DJ Moore. I mean, he's a solid wide receiver too with wide receiver 1 upside.
Yeah,
every single week.
Would you play DJ Moore or Calvin Ridley?
I mean, if I have both of them, I'm definitely playing both of them. I can't imagine. I mean, I'd have to have stacked receivers to not play either one of those guys.
Just curious. Somebody asked us that.
I mean, who are your receivers that you are even contemplating?
DJ Moore, Cooper, or Ridley? Cooper Kupp.
That's tough. You had to start 2 of the 3?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, 1 of the 3.
Oh, only one of those 3? Who are your other receivers that you...
Yeah, I don't know. It's that one dude that always is messing.
Oh, wow. That's pretty tough right there. I think if I was in a lean one, I'd probably go Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
That's a tough one right there. I mean, because honestly, you want to play all 3 of those receivers. I mean, if I went to the week and Ridley, DJ Moore, and Cooper Kupp were my receivers, I'd be stoked with my receiving core that week. I mean, Cooper Kupp obviously has a tough matchup at home against the Ravens, but
that's what I said.
Still,
Ridley. I'd play Calvin Ridley just because I think the upside's there. But I think DJ Moore is definitely a guy that you can play in this one.
Yeah, definitely dial up DJ Moore. He's for sure. Like I said, he's more targets than anyone in the NFL in the last like 5-6 weeks. So
yeah.
What about like a Curtis Samuel though? Because he's kind of been flex worthy each and every week.
I mean, I guess.
He's not the sexiest name.
That's what I mean. It's like one of those. It's like, what am I doing putting this guy in there?
Yeah, I actually dropped him in one of my leagues because he's been all over the place. I think I dropped him to pick up Darius Geis.
I'm gonna say no on that one.
Yeah, just depending on my lineup. Like I said, it's not a sexy name. Like if he doesn't score, he's not gonna probably put up this monster numbers for you. And it's just how much do you trust Kyle Allen on the road in New Orleans?
Yeah.
I don't really trust him that much. So it'll probably be DJ Moore. I'd probably be fading Curtis Samuel here and now watch him go out and have 2 touchdowns. But
it was not a flub.
Yeah.
It wasn't a flub, dude. Anybody else? You playing Carolina's defense?
Definitely not.
Greg Olsen.
Yeah, you're definitely down him. Greg Olsen, with a couple tight ends on the bye. And then, just how thin the tight end landscape
Especially
can be.
I have Travis Kelce and Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
So, Greg, you bumped up. You're on the active roster.
Yeah, he's been pretty solid lately, actually. So, yeah, I like Greg Olsen this week.
Cool. So do I. That's hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
That's how everyone felt when they started Kyle Allen.
That's how everyone feels when I give them advice and it doesn't work out exactly perfectly for them.
I mean, look, one thing I can just say is this: is like and even like these guys like Michael Fabiano, Matthew Berry, all these like ESPN,
they're
NFL
wrong
guys, like
all the time.
These guys are wrong all the time, and like that's. At the end of the day, it's like it's your own personal opinion of what you think. Like you're not out there on the field. Like you didn't go through the practices. You don't know what the game plan is. Like you don't know what the game script is. You just don't know. This is why I always say all the time.
Chill.
I always say I hate projections because you just can't project anything. You can't project that someone goes out there and gets hurt. You can't project that. You just can't project anything. It's the NFL. You just never know what's going to happen. You can't project if these refs are going to fuck up a call.
Just like the Las Vegas sports books put up a spread, it's an educated guess, and that's what we got. That's what we try and bring to people listening every week. So
yeah, we're just trying to give you like our personal best opinion, and like anything that we offer out, like advice wise, we would do it or we are doing it in our own lineups. You know what I'm saying? But you're not always going to be right. You know what I'm saying? That's just fantasy football is just unpredictable. Like you just cannot predict it. It's like I was kind of just humble brag right here, but in one of my leagues, I beat the number 1 seed. This guy's team is stacked, but I beat him I had Deebo Samuel and Devontae Parker who put up 20+ points for me. They were my 2 best players outside of Lamar Jackson, who's probably the fantasy MVP actually. But Devontae Parker and Deebo Samuel put up 20+ points for me, and they were actually both inside the top 10 wide receivers that week. But if you were to guess going into the week, Deebo Samuel and Devontae Parker are going to be top 10 wide receivers this week, you would have thought, no way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just
and it just shows you, like, it's just so unpredictable.
But I will say, though, when we look into these matchups, we really do give a better idea of, like, how the game might go.
For sure, yeah.
So, if you finish listening to this and you're like, oh, my God, now I know exactly who to play, well, get ready because there's another episode coming out just after this one, and that's going to be episode 48, I think. But this has been episode 47, Fantasy Football, Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast, Matchups, Part 1. Episode 47. It's in the books, baby. Thanks for listening. If you want to give us a follow, that'd be great. If you want to text Tyler and give him a PP touch, that'd be great too.
We're going to set up a GoFundMe account.
We have like all dudes listening. Thank you for listening. This has been Mike and Tyler on the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. We hope we helped you and have a good fantasy week 12 in the books. Bye.